So this special Folk Album of the Year Award episode of Folk on Foot is celebrating the amazing album All Smiles Tonight by Poor Creature. And the band are joining me now online, Cormac, Ruth and John. Great to have you and congratulations on your nomination for Folk Album of the Year. Let's just hear the history of the trio of you, because you've all got commitments to other bands. I mean, Ruth, you're in Landless, and Cormac and John, you play with Lankum. So how did the three of you come together as a unit?
I suppose me and Cormac live together and are married. So we were playing music in our living room, basically, which we played a bit together anyway. But then when the pandemic started, it just left us with a lot more time to experiment and try out some new instruments and new arrangements. And so we were kind of tipping away on that, did a few online things when that was still the practice. And then as we kind of came out of it, we had a few gigs lined up, and then we decided that we really needed John to join us. And thankfully John said yes. He was obliged to, though, because you're related to us.
You don't have to join a bubble of some kind, or some strange COVID regulation or anything like that in order to get the band together.
No, it was well after that. Yeah, I mean, it was the two of us initially, and then it was only afterwards that we got to kind of play properly together. Like, our first gig was a benefit for a greyhound, and John, fair play to him, like hadn't played with us once at all, but got up and did a stormer. We did 3 or 4 tracks, and it was great. You know what I mean?
Did you say a benefit for a greyhound?
Yes.
What was wrong with the greyhound?
He needed a new knee.
A new knee. Yeah. And so you did a gig to raise the money to have the operation?
Yeah.
Ourselves and a bunch of other bands. It was lovely. Really nice turnout for the dog. He's very
good. Yeah. And John, had you ever, so you just kind of threw yourself into it? You'd never rehearsed with them?
Look, if there's a benefit for a dog, I'm there. That's kind of to the creative arts. No, because obviously me and Cormac would have been, we were playing with Lankum, but we're brothers, and we've always been knocking ideas back and forth about, what might be fun. And I think, in the early iterations of the Lankum thing, I wouldn't have been that busy in the songs. It was very minimal, and I've no doubt that I was probably vocal about, oh, this is great, but I'd love to be doing more. And I think with Cos and Ruth, I think as their kind of arrangements are coalescing, I think for them there was the sense that there was room for another voice in that.
because the percussion is so important, isn't it, in the sound that you eventually end up making. Your drums are absolutely crucial to the whole sound.
Thank you. And like, it's always quite fraught for me because they're often really, really beautiful on their own. And there's always that kind of tension between, you know, trying to do something that's kind of personally satisfying and that I feel is a positive addition, but also not kind of being overbearing or whatever, you know, that kind of a way. And so some of that was like very much dictated by you know, what had been laid down beforehand. Because if things were like, there are tracks there where Cormac and Ruth had already laid stuff down, but along with an automatone, like with the organetta, so there'd be a beat behind it, and they'd work to that beat, which essentially meant that I could cut loose, whereas there was others that were very much in their own timing, in terms of like a more traditional delivery, which was so I'm working to that meter. So it'd be a lot more kind of instinctive and less kind of, you know, or to the floor or anything like that, if you know what I mean.
You've mentioned the organetta, Ruth, which I think is your instrument. And this is a 70s keyboard, a Hofner keyboard, isn't it?
Yeah, it would have been built by Orla Keyboards and distributed by Honer, and it's from 1977, according to the man who fixed it for me. It's lovely. It's very simple. It has about 4 sounds, which all kind of sound the same, and a nice tremolo and a very charming drum machine on it as well. So
Right. And how did you come across the instrument? Did you buy it on eBay or something, or?
yeah, whatever Ireland's equivalent, done deal or something. And someone was selling it out of their garage at home, for very little.
It's a beast.
It's very large. We were kind of lugging it around to gigs for the first while, but that proved stressful because you have to assemble the table each time, which is hard to do in the dark.
But it features prominently in the sound, doesn't it?
It does. I'm a church organist originally, or pipe organist, so I was always looking for a nice electric organ for the house anyway.
And that layered sound with all sorts of strange instruments coming in and out. I think there's a handheld synthesizer as well, isn't there, Cormac?
Oh, there's yeah, it's like a kind of a Japanese novelty instrument. It's called automatone, and it's like basically a rubber thing with two eyes on it, and you can, as a mono synth that goes, and you could open the mouth basically for it to go wow, and it's great fun. And it's just, there's a lot to be said about like having not necessarily limitations, but having a thing and it can only do that, and what can you do with a thing that can only do one thing? Loads of fun.
Do I get the sense that your house is kind of a bit full of gizmos and gadgets of that kind? Is that right?
Yeah, we're lucky. Yeah. We have a room for our musical instruments, which is great. We can spread out, make a mess.
So I want to understand how you approached creating the repertoire that you covered on the album, because there are some traditional songs and then some country and Irish songs, which is an interesting phenomenon which we should talk more about. But how did you decide which songs were going to make it onto this recording?
I don't think it was. I think we just kind of, it wasn't necessarily an active thing. I think we just arranged what we love, I suppose.
Yeah, some of them would have been kind of percolating away in the background anyway. Like a couple of them I would have been singing for years, would have learned them in singing sessions around the country and just sang them solo. And then I suppose with the addition of the new instruments, you think, well, what do I already know and what could these instruments bring to these songs? And then some of them we learned more recently, like more of the American stuff. We would have been singing in the local session that we do. We do an old time session in Sligo, so we would have a few songs on the go for that as well. So it all kind of coalesces.
So just pick out one of the traditional songs that you would have been singing for a long time, and then you've obviously taken it in a new direction for this recording. Can you pick out one of those for us?
Yeah, I suppose I was singing The Ghost of Willio. I would have got that from Donal Maguire, who's the excellent singer from Louth, who lived in England for years, but he's back in Ireland now. And I think it's kind of a mashup of a few different old ballads. They're, the way they're categorized into, it's called child ballads, the different sort of storylines. So I think this one is a mixture of the Grey Cock and one of the kind of night visiting songs, but it's sort of been smushed, and the Bay of Biscay as well.
This is about a sailor, isn't it, who comes back in after 7 years away. In the middle of the night, his girlfriend is suddenly disturbed by his face at the window.
In this version, it doesn't say what he is or what his profession was, but that's the gist. Yeah, he kind of comes back as a ghost,
Right.
knocking on her window for one last night of passion. Here's shine.
cold clay has changed them, for I am the ghost of your will.
Talk to me about the country element on the album as well, because there's a whole scene, I think, in the area that you live where people are singing American songs.
Yeah, the emphasis is really on dancing. So within country and Irish music, it'd be very, very popular, especially in the northwest and the kind of North Midlands of Ireland. And it's country music, but with kind of an Irish twang, I suppose. And these bands, very highly accomplished, very technical, very polished bands, play in hotels and function rooms, and people will dance for 4 hours.
Yeah.
They'll jive specifically to this music, and it's wildly popular here.
Huge.
So it's,
And a good example is The Whole Town Knows.
yeah, it's from Ray Lynham and Philomena Begley, who would be like the king and queen of country and Irish, probably. But their version, I don't know, it's worth having a listen. It's a lot jollier than ours came out.
I guess we knew it was wrong right from the start. But what can you say to convince two foolish hearts
that starts over long? We're finally forced to borrow.
we should have known that someday we'd run out of tomorrow. We'd run out of tomorrow, and there's no more yesterdays. We can go on living and cheating this way.
A love that's built on lies not only end in sorrow.
Now the whole town knows we've run out of tomorrow. I first saw it in her eyes that somehow she knew, and he didn't have to tell me that he'd seen me with you.
We can't hide happiness in love that we just borrow.
Yesterday caught up with us, we run out of tomorrow. We run out of tomorrow, and there's no more yesterdays. We can go on living and cheating this way.
A love that's built on lies not only end in sorrow.
Now the whole town knows we run out of tomorrow. Now the whole town knows we run out of tomorrow.
I'm wondering if there's a whole strain of melancholy going on here, because there's a lot of parting and a bit of death underneath the surface in these songs, isn't there? Did you seek out the melancholy?
It finds us.
Definitely find this. Yeah. It's so funny because it's like, in old time music, it's, a lot of it, it's just so uplifting, and, it can be quite, major, but then, the the reality of the lyrics is that it's just absolutely, it's pure heartbreak and pure sadness.
That was always one of my favorite things about sacred harp music, this American shape note tradition, that some of the songs, they're in a major key, and they, if you weren't listening to the words, they might sound quite, uplifting, but actually the words are incredibly miserable. And those are the ones that like get to me the most, far more than one that sounds sad on the surface because it's a minor key or whatever. I think a lot of the songs in this album are major, actually.
Let's talk about the influence of John Spud Murphy on this, because he's such a legendary producer who's made albums with a whole lot of different bands on the scene. John, I wonder if you might talk about what it's like in the studio when you're working with him.
I've done one recording session in the last decade that hasn't involved him. So we'd be fairly tight at this stage. Like there's a number of things that I really like about him. Like, we're very aligned, and I think collectively we're very aligned in how we sort of think about music, and also just in terms of what we like. But what he brings to the table, apart from like he's incredibly technically gifted and extremely considered in how he approaches stuff, and he tends to do more for people than he's getting paid for generally as well. It's a thing I love about him, and also a thing I lecture him on constantly. But he's also extremely emotionally intelligent, so he very much gets that people do good work when they're comfy and safe. And so he's a very kind of reassuring presence in the room. But he's also just, quite free with his ideas. Do you know what I mean? So it's very easy work with him, because we just, like, you just go in and we'll just throw the kitchen sink at it. And quite literally in a couple of the songs on this album, where we just went doing layer of kind of percussion after the fact. And then, like, he's very good at sort of going, yeah, no, this sounds like it's, he'll bring things to a certain point, just even in terms of rough mixes and stuff like that. And I have no anxiety whatsoever about that, because I have implicit trust in his, I suppose, like, capacity to understand what, and kind of feel into what we'll want and what we won't, so he'll do a bit on his Todd before we come back in and start really sort of fine tuning things. Do you know what I mean?
And you all obviously share a kind of sonic vision. There's obviously a common vision of the kind of sound world that you want to operate in. Is that fair?
Yeah, it is. But what's interesting is, like, because if you like, what Lankum sounds like is not what Poor Creature sounds like, despite there being common personnel, and the
Same with Landless, and
same with Landless, same with, yeah.
But I wasn't meaning that it was the same sound, but I just mean that there's a sort of openness to experimentation, and openness to electronics, and openness to going in new directions that perhaps somebody else might not have.
100%. Yeah. And again, like, I think it is, he creates the space for really good work to happen. And there absolutely, I think there's a lot of, there's probably a Venn diagram in terms of all of the folks that we know that work with him, where there'd be a lot of things that we'd all be kind of pretty into him. There'd be sort of shared reference points, which kind of lends itself to a shared sort of language. And
We're all at the same gigs.
even if when you're recording, you're a bit deflated, he's never discouraging. You know what I mean? He doesn't ever cultivate anything except either a positive or a kind of like Zen atmosphere. You know what I mean?
So you're taking traditional music and dealing with it in new ways and taking it to new audiences. Is that something that you kind of set out consciously to do as a mission, or was it just that this is the music you love, this is the music you care about, and that's why you're working with it?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the music that we happen to do, but then our taste is much broader than that. So the music that we listen to might be anything but traditional. So it has ended up meshing in a very natural kind of way, rather than saying, oh, we think we could update this music to be something else. I think it's really like almost pragmatic. It's like, this is the music we're playing.
Yeah.
What we've been doing for years and years, and now it's coming out through these filters.
It's quite natural as far as that goes as well. Like,
And are you still taking part in traditional sessions?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to gigs and playing sessions, going to gigs, going to all different types of gigs. So it's nice. It's kind of get the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. I want to talk about your lead vocal on Loreen, Cormac, because that's a beautiful and slightly more stripped back song. Tell us about that song.
You. It's a Louvin Brothers song that I think I had arranged the guitar part anyway and slowed it down during the pandemic because I'd like broken my spine and was
What?
on. Yeah, I'd broken my spine in like 2 places during the pandemic. So I was in a
How did you do that?
seizure. Massive
Oh my goodness.
seizure. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, I'm grand now.
Oh, good. I'm pleased to hear it.
I'm having a jogging. Yeah.
So during the pandemic, you were in a cast or something?
Yes, exactly. I was in a brace for like, I think like 6 weeks. So I was on extremely strong opioids. So everything kind of slowed down a bit, and I was messing about with tunings on guitar. So just kind of bending the neck and having the strings tuned down so low made it so I could just kind of push the slightly wonky dissonant sadness a bit more.
Write me a letter, answer the last one that I wrote to you, Loreen. I hope you're still waiting, but your last letter is way overdue. So many times you've started to rhyme, darling. I wonder what's taking your time, Loreen. I hope you're still waiting, but your last letter is way overdue, Loreen. Stop me from hurting. All it would take was a letter from you, Loreen. must I stay? Glory. I feel I have lost you, for your last letter is mine. Overdue.
And is there something in the air in Dublin at the moment that is meaning that all this creativity is going on and that traditional music is so vibrant?
It's interesting because I think it's been going on for over 10 years now.
And not just in Dublin, all across, like,
Yeah, around the country.
edges.
It's just suddenly enough people noticed. So it seems like it's really just happened, but it has been building for a long time. Not to mention like the 60s,
Yeah.
70s. But yeah, we were all hanging around together 10 years ago
Yep.
in the sessions, and some of those sessions are still going. And presumably there's new young people coming along as well and getting involved.
There's definitely a thing that, you know, people have been making records and they're now at a point where they're on a really nice point on a creative arc. Like John Flynn's last record is pretty extraordinary. Junior Brothers, like, making, you know, more ambitious things every time around.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Lisa O'Neill's like latest stuff is phenomenal, and like right across the board there's sort of people who have I guess been evolving and honing a thing, and then there's loads of people coming up around that because there's now enough of a critical mass that things that wouldn't have had space at all now are afforded a bit more space, I think, which is lovely to see. And it's not just even in that kind of folk idiom, it's kind of right across the board. There's lots of really nice kind of like hip hop and funk sort of stuff, and you know, a lot of heavier music as well is getting more space than maybe it would traditionally outside of the country. So long may that continue. Hopefully people
Absolutely, amen to that. Well, it's been great to talk to you, and once again, congratulations. Thank you very much for joining me this evening.
Thank you.
Many thanks. Nice up.